Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, the Blazers dropped their 6th game straight on Sunday night. Afterwards, Damian Lillard talked about their playoff chances. Get this. Dame said, quote, "We've pretty much fallen out of the race for the 10th spot unless we win every game. If you really look at it, truthfully, I love to play, I love the competition, and I haven't been ready to give that up. But it does come to a point in time where do you stop putting your competitive nature out front?" Shannon, jump in here. Do you have an issue with what Dame said?
Skip, I need more context because I don't know what he's meaning. I don't know what he's saying. Because, okay, he says we're falling out of the 10th spot. If Dame is playing with an injury and we're getting further and further from being in the play-in, he says, and we shut it down, I got no problem with that. If he's not injured, and he says, because we've fallen out the 10th spot, I might shut it down because that's what Chris Haynes says. Dame is probably 5 or 6 more games left before Portland shuts him down for the season.
Yeah.
Well, he needs to be injured in order for Portland to shut him down for the season.
Yep.
Because you sign up for 82. That doesn't mean, Skip, well, we fall out of playoff contention, we shut it down. So now, if you've 30 games, we got 30 games to play, and you're out of playoff contention. Do we shut it down now? So I'm going to need Dame to, I just clarify, Dame, man, look, I've been playing with this nagging injury. I've been trying to push through it, and I've given it all I can. But if we continue to fall and we don't have a chance to get into the play-in, I'm going to shut it down. I got no problem with that. Mm-hmm. But just to shut it down, for the sake of shutting it down, because we're not in playoff contention, I'm going to have a problem with that.
Mm. Likewise, I don't know if he's hurt or not. The numbers recently indicate he's not hurt because he's been on quite an offensive tear.
Right. He's a third lead scorer. He's averaging over 32 a game.
32.2. These quotes were uttered in utter frustration.
Right.
After they had lost a home game to the Clippers in which he had shot 4 for 17.
Right.
And in the fourth quarter, it got so bad he just quit even trying to shoot because he was 1 for a grand total of 3 shots in the fourth quarter in a game they probably didn't have a chance to win anyway.
Right.
But this was a frustrated concession speech that I think no Blazer fan wanted to hear because they still have long shot hopes of getting hot and winning out.
Right.
But he says, I think everybody here is not crazy in here in the locker room, he meant. You look at what other teams are doing, they're creating separation, and we're on a losing streak. We've pretty much fallen out of the race for 10th unless we win every game. Well, you could win every game. You could get just as hot as anybody else could get in a wide open West and make a run. The problem is he's frustrated because we did the quotes last week about he's saying, why is it always about the ring?
Right.
Why don't you just leave, the way I interpret it, just leave me be. I'm going to put these numbers up. I'm going to be one of the best offensive players, certainly at the guard position in this league. Mm-hmm. I'll make a couple of logo threes every game. I will entertain you, especially at home.
Right.
But I can't guarantee you we're going to win a lot of games because, as we sit, they're 31-40. So they're 9 games under 500, and now they've lost 6 straight games. So he's basically asking for mercy of the home fans. I give you the best I can, but I chose to be a big fish in your fairly small pond here. Right. It's a very small pond.
Right.
And yet he's got 4 years left at $216.2 million. So he's making max type money. Right. And he's chosen that path several times where he could have tried to go elsewhere and team up and take that championship route. But he didn't want that kind of heat. He didn't want that kind of smoke. He didn't want that kind of pressure. He just said, no, I'm going to do you the biggest solid anybody's ever done, the Portland Trailblazers. I'm going to stay home for you because I love it here. I love Portland. And I'm going to do the best I can for you, but it's probably not going to involve winning a ring because that's a real long shot for Portland.
Right.
Well, these people know that there have been 2 phases and stages of Portland Trailblazer basketball, one by Bill Walton and then one they had the run in the 80s where they got to the finals in the 80s, but they won the finals.
You would have got late 80s when they lost to Detroit.
They lost to Detroit.
And then they went back in the 90s and lost to Jordan.
They lost to Jordan, okay? So they've known a couple of near greatness, but they knew they were going way back into the what,
77.
77. Bill Walton, look him up. If you think he's some clownish guy now, look at what he did, because he was it.
Yeah.
For those couple of years,
Yeah.
he was it until his feet failed him.
Right.
But
they was down 0-2 to the Sixers.
they were
and
down
won 4 straight.
0-2, and they won 4 straight, thanks mostly to him. He was as good a passing big man as you will ever see. Agile, not quite 7 feet. I think they listed him at 6'11".
Right.
But whatever. He was great. And then he came back and won 6th Man of the Year for Boston. All right.
80-16.
So the point is, they've known greatness, and I'm sure they're stewing over the fact right now. Well, wait, you're conceding now,
Right.
Because you think you're out of the play-in
Right.
tournament. Well, we got a great young coach. We think I love Chauncey.
Right.
And I think he's going to be really good. And I thought going into the year, I thought they had some nice pieces around.
I like
Dame.
Jeremy Grant.
Yeah,
I like Anthony Simons.
Oh, how can you not like him?
Nurk just can't stay
He
healthy
just can't stay
enough.
healthy.
But
And Nurk is not dominating.
no.
He's just not dominating. He's not that guy. It's why once upon a time Denver said, we got Jokic, we got Nurkic.
Right.
We got both of them. And at that point, it looked like Nurkic was really pretty good.
Because remember, Nurk was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Jokic was a second-round pick.
Okay, and they had both of them, and I was a little surprised. Wait, you're going to bet on the other guy? Because I didn't know what the other guy could do. Because this guy looked like he was pretty good.
They made the right decision.
Okay, they made the right decision. But pretty good is the best you could ever describe.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, Skip, you mentioned that Dame is going to make over the next 4 years, starting next year, 216. That's $54 million a year.
Whew.
So, I mean, and he signed up for this. Now, he knows the likelihood of him winning, unless Kevin Durant or one of these great players, or Giannis or Jason, one of these guys come to link up with him.
Yeah.
There's a 95% chance he's not going to win the title there.
Yeah.
He's accepted that. But also, you also must accept that you're going to have to play this thing out unless you're injured. If he's injured, I got no problem with them shutting him down, Skip. None whatsoever. But I would have a problem if he's not injured and he doesn't feel that there's nothing else to play for. You play for that. You sign up for 82, you play for that salary, bro.
Because there are those who signed up for season tickets, 41 games
Yes.
worth, and wait a second, the last 3 home games you're not going to play because you're just tired of this?
Right.
You think there's no point to it?
So I'm thinking that he's injured.
Yeah.
He's playing through something that's been lingering or nagging him. And he's like, the further we get removed from being in the play-in, Skip, I think the easier it is for him and the Trailblazers to shut him down. I would have absolutely no problem with that. But if he's 100% healthy, I shouldn't say 100%, as healthy as you are going to be at this time of the season, playing as many games as he played, and just shut it down because there isn't a chance for us to make the playoffs, then I would have a problem with that.
Okay. And one more time, I want to say bigger picture. My only issue with Dame has been I need to see more when you do have a chance to go places. And they got to 1 Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors without Kevin Durant. And it was basically those 2 guards. I mean, Draymond certainly played a factor, but it was 2 guards against 2 guards because CJ was still with Dame. And just go look at those 4 games. They got swept because
he didn't play well.
they went to the 4th quarter. Neither did CJ, for the record.
Right.
But they go to the 4th quarter of those 4 games with a chance. A couple times they were ahead. A couple times they were barely behind. Neither Dame nor CJ put up any kind of numbers or any kind of fight in the 4th quarter, and Steph and Clay took the games over. So that's all you need to know. That was your one moment in the sun, and you melted.
Right.
All right. So there you go. And I'll say it again, guys, this Western Conference is just so wild this season. You just never know until the racing room shrinks a little bit more.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the NFL. A lot of stuff happening behind closed doors in Carolina. You think the Panthers will surprise us, guys, with who they draft number 1?
Wow.
Let's get your take when we come back.